I begin waking up around 3:45 in the morning, and I've always been an early riser. I also like to operate under the cover of darkness. So there's a famous line in Batman: The Dark Knight. Bane says, "You think darkness is your ally." And he says, "I was born in the darkness." My attitude is I wake up in the darkness, and there's so much I accomplish in the darkness before everyone wakes up. Everyone's just simply sleeping in the darkness. Okay, so I'm heading to my co-working space now. So from here, I'll be walking to the train station, which is about 5 minutes walk from my apartment, which is quite nice. So in the apartment tour video that I made, one of the things that I didn't talk about was the distance from the train station. That is really a big feature when considering a Japanese home. And so if you can find a train station within 10 minutes of your home, that's pretty good. And mine is 5 minutes, which is great. Now, my first apartment was 15 minutes walk from the train station, and that was not so fun because you have to really account for your travel time to the train station and then the travel time to your other destination. So fortunately, I sort of figured out how it all works. Now, the nice thing with train stations or trains, Japanese trains, is that they're on time. So you can reliably predict what time you need to leave your house. And the train generally, I would say, in 99% of cases, the train's going to arrive on time. So promptness is a big component of Japanese culture. So they really do value promptness and being on time. So when considering a Japanese home, definitely consider the proximity to the train station. So you can hear the chime of the train approaching. That's the 1 minute signal that indicates that the train is approaching the station. And there is my local train. So this is my co-working space. I just started at this particular co-working space. Previously, I was at another one for about a year and a half. And it's good, obviously, because it gets me out of the house. As you know, during the pandemic, we were confined to our houses. And since things opened up, really didn't want to be at home working. And I found this place, or at least my previous co-working space. And here it allows me to really develop the various types of projects and ideas that I have. So my current focus right now is AI, e-mobility, and sustainability. But also I plan a lot of the content that I do for YouTube here as well. And it also gives me a chance just to catch up on some things, research, and what have you. Also, there's an opportunity to connect with other people who sort of are similarly focused. Now, it's not always easy to make connections with Japanese in day-to-day life. So even though it's not that much easier here, at least it gets me sort of in proximity on a day-to-day basis. And I've met some really good people, and I have interactions with people almost on a daily basis here. So that's really a good thing. I think the other note that I want to make about this whole thing is it really is sort of acceptance too, because I've been out of the corporate world for over 7 years now, and I really haven't fully determined what's next. The more that I sort of, how can I say, pass each day, really coming to terms with the fact that I'm not in the corporate world anymore and that world isn't for me anymore. So this place really helps me to sort of shift my focus and think about what I'm going to do next. And then also really sort of the responsibility and the accountability is on me as well in terms of if I sort of idle all day or procrastinate, nothing gets done that doesn't move me any closer to finding my next path or developing my ideas or really seeing the various projects through. So that's really what this is about. I think one of the biggest things about being in the co-working space as well is it's also a break from what I typically do here in Japan. So my work is focused on more corporate training in terms of how I earn a living. So that's working with Japanese companies and really developing their workforces. And a lot of Japanese companies have ambitions to expand to other markets, particularly the US, because Japan is a shrinking market due to a declining population. So because I have professional experience, quite deep professional experience, that gives me a chance to really contribute that to Japanese companies and to their workforces. But I think there's certainly more that I can do. There's much more opportunity to fully leverage my skill sets and develop my skill sets even further. And so that's why I'm here in this co-working space to really, again, focus on those things. And again, hopefully with iterations, dedication, discipline, not hopefully, but certainly with that consistency, we'll see some success, see some good things to come. And the final thing I'll say is just I really don't want to be in the corporate world anymore, and that fact is clear. I'd like to be business focused. I know inevitably it turns into a corporation, but I'd really sort of like to be focused entrepreneurially, and yeah, hopefully at some point there's a breakthrough and we'll make it big, or at least just something that's quite fulfilling in terms of the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, work that really is meaningful, work that contributes positively to the world, and then also work that gives me an opportunity to collaborate with others and just have good interactions, win, success, all those different things. So that's really my goal for coming to this workspace beyond just getting out of the house, is to really become clear on my next path. And that's obviously not something that's easy to determine, but something must be done rather than just sort of passing the days and waiting for opportunities to happen. It's really about creating opportunities. It's really about challenging myself, asking the hard questions about what it is that I want to do, and confronting some things as well in terms of I need to really sort of set a path and a direction for myself. And this really helps me face that. So this is it. It's a very nice place, very nice staff. It's central to everything. So I'm in another area of my co-working space. Now I have to keep my voice down a bit because there are other people around me and I don't want to disturb anyone. But based on what I mentioned earlier, you're probably asking if I have a lot of chances to interact with Japanese. The answer, in short, is no. So generally, Japanese is a pretty shy culture. They don't really sort of want to impose on anyone, and are not really sort of the types to sort of initiate interactions. So usually there has to be some sort of commonality, some sort of connection, in order to really have a chance to interact with Japanese. So on top of the cultural aspects, then there's the language barrier. So Japan has very low proficiency in English for a developed country, and ranks among the bottom consistently. So when it comes to making connections, that adds to the challenge because generally when you encounter a Japanese person, immediately sort of the reaction is that I don't speak English. That can sort of obviously heighten the shyness or also increase the reluctance to really make connections with foreigners. Those are the real sort of barriers. So it doesn't give me many opportunities to make connections. Now, there are events that the co-working space hosts to bring people together, but because I'm not the strongest of Japanese speakers, it still puts a lot of burden on me to make connections because I can't communicate myself fully in Japanese, but still an opportunity to be able to use my language skills and then also just get to know people sort of at a high level, sort of where I'm from, hobbies, those sorts of things, and then sort of vice versa as it relates to interacting with Japanese. Fortunately, there are some Japanese who do speak English, and it is fairly easy to make connections with them or just interact with them on a day-to-day basis. There are a couple of people that I know here that I speak to regularly, and some of the staff here also speak English as well, so it's nice to be able to speak with them a bit, have a little bit of small talk, and so on. That's really the extent of it. So that's what makes Japan sort of a challenging place just for an expat overall, but even the business environment can be really challenging because, again, these types of things that I mentioned, as well as the style of business in Japan. Japan's a very sort of group-oriented culture, and also a lot of the sort of approach to how business is done, how decisions are made, really are very different from the West. So these are all major factors to consider when you live in Japan and work in Japan as well. I'm going to cover that more in an upcoming video, but just in the context of my co-working space, I just thought it would be useful to highlight my experience here and how I overcome that.
待たせいたしました。こんにちは。
こんにちは。
お分かりください。
So it's the end of my typical weekday in Osaka, and I try to get home at a reasonable hour so that I can prepare dinner. I, one, don't like to eat late. I generally try not to eat after 6 p.m. So generally I cut my day right about 5 p.m., 5:15 so that I can get home and begin to prepare dinner. Now, disclaimer, I am not a skilled cook. I can fend for myself. So usually what I make are Western dishes. So it'd be a chicken dish, grilled chicken, or it will be a beef dish. So either something with ground beef like tacos, for example, or steak. I'm not skilled at making Japanese food. There are a couple of things that I'd like to try, but so far I haven't done that. So tonight is going to be barbecue chicken, garlic rice, and baked beans. So we're gonna get started here. I've got everything laid out. So please don't be too hard on me. It's enough to really sort of take care of myself on a day-to-day basis, and I think that's good enough. Also, I forgot that I'm also going to have some baby greens with lime pepper and lime juice. So you'll see all of that as I get into preparing my dinner for the evening. So we're coming up on my bedtime right now, and this is where things start to speed up because I wake up super early in the morning. So I'd like to get my kitchen together before I go to bed and then take a bath. Fortunately, I passed out after dinner, so I feel a little bit awake, but I try not to get in the habit of staying awake too late because I like to, again, stay on a consistent schedule. So we'll get this cleaned up here and then get ready to take a bath, and we should be pretty well set up for early in the morning. So it goes without saying that I've become quite the creature of habit with my routine, and for better or for worse, I don't like to change that habit. I like to eat at a set time. I like to sleep at a set time. I pretty much eat the same food throughout the week, whether it's breakfast or dinner, even lunch, as you saw earlier in the video. So that's just it's just easy. And as I say, weekends are for changing it up, or having some additional variety into the mix. So that chime is to tell me that the bath will be full soon. So that's a nice little alert. Again, gets me sped up a little bit so I can get myself together and get ready for bed. Now, I don't normally take baths, but it's cold in the winter, so it helps warm me up. It also gets my blood pressure down a bit, and yeah, it's just relaxing sometime also. So I do that, but generally I take showers the majority of the time. I prepare my breakfast for the next morning. If it's going to be overnight oats, I really love overnight oats, so this is the time that I would get them started. I try not to wait too late to start on them because I don't want to be up late preparing food. And breakfast is so important to me on a daily basis. So this is the time that I begin that prep, and I look forward to it. Yeah, I just really enjoy overnight oats. I call them my Spodies. And they keep me full and I think reasonably healthy in terms of weight management at least. I'll give a quick wipe down to the table and then we're done in the kitchen. So the bath water is ready. There's nothing particularly special about my bath. I do it onsen style where I will bathe first and then shower after. And that's pretty much it. No, you're not going to see me get ready to take a bath. This is as far as it goes. You can see the bathtub, of course, but we're gonna stop right here and I'll see you once my bath is over. Okay, so before I go to bed, I've got this electric bill, which I've been dreading because I know it's going to be ridiculous. It's my February electric bill, and I got it earlier this week, and I know it's going to be high. So just thought I'd take a look and see what it's all about. And it's probably not the best way to end the night, but I need to know because it needs to get paid. Okay. All right. Let's see what the damage is. Actually not bad. I'm quite surprised that the bill is about $85 US. So breathing a sigh of relief because this winter's been cold here and this apartment has not held up well against the cold weather. My inverter just hasn't been able to keep up with the lack of insulation. So I will definitely take this. This is a very good way to end the night. Okay, so this wraps up my day in Osaka life. So hopefully you saw some interesting things. It's a pretty interesting place to live and obviously different things to navigate day to day, but I enjoy living here. And I will be doing a follow-up video about life in Osaka and why I enjoy living here. But it's bedtime now, so I'm going to sign off. Let me know if you have any questions about anything you've seen in this video or what you think overall. As always, be sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video soon. So you're probably wondering what happened to dinner. Well, to see that video, make sure that you like this video and that you're subscribed, and I will be bringing that video to you soon. Thanks and good night.